Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new F123 tutorial. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to eliminate understeer, one of the most dreaded, hateful, terrible feelings in a racing car, and how to make the car silky balanced, smooth, fast, dynamic within the F123 game. So I'm going to be breaking it down into 4 simple and effective areas for you to digest and learning at home. So that's going to be in the braking phase of the corner, the low speed corners, the middle speed corners, and the high speed corners as well. So jumping straight into it, I'm going to be talking about the braking zones and the braking phase of the corners as well, and it's going to be one of the most important factors in a racing car, and that's going to be your braking bias. So going to be very briefly explaining what the braking bias does for you and how you can use it to amplify your performance at home. Stock with the F123 game, 63% brake bias is the stock brake bias of choice, and sneak preview, it's terrible. So that is just a really bad brake bias to be using, and I'm going to teach you a better one in a second. So background story on brake bias, that is how much percent force goes to the front tires or the rear tires as well. So stock, 63% goes towards the front, and if we put it down to its minimum, 50% goes to the front and 50% goes down to the rear. If you go up to 70% brake bias, 70% force goes towards the front and 30% force goes towards the rear. And I'm going to be showing you why you do not want to be even thinking about using above 60% brake bias, and why the stock brake bias is not a good brake bias for your optimal lap time performance at home. Starting off with 70% brake bias, instantly we hit the brake pedal and we're building sandcastles already in the gravel trap. Not good. Terrible. Instantly locking up the front tyres. Too much force was put onto the front tyres for their grip level, and they could not handle it. 63% is the default brake bias of choice within the game. So we're going to come up to the next braking zone, and I'm going to hit the brake on 63%, and you're going to see it's going to lock up and understeer past the corner. Oh, shock, surprise, it's locked up and gone past the corner. It is just not a good brake bias to be using, and not effective for pace and control within the car. Next up, I'm going to show you minimal brake bias, what is 50%, and you're going to see it's just going to lock up and spin straight away. So we've done maximum, we've done stock, we've done minimum, and now we're going to show the ideal braking bias. For me, the ideal braking bias is 56%. This gives me the good balance between stable turning, braking into the apex, you can see very controlled into the corner, smooth back on the power, and allows me that controlled nature of managing the car, grip, potential into the apex, and letting myself rotate nicely through, back on the power, 6th gear on the exit, and you can see it's a very nice and controlled racing car that has good grip potential and is not unpredictable, it's not unsettled, and allowing me to reach all apexes in a controlled manner. So with that being said, 56% brake bias is your brake bias to be using at home. That is my personal recommendation. Now I'm going to start talking about the low speed areas of the track and these super powerful tools that you have at your disposal to help your car rotate in the low speed corners. So that's going to be your off-throttle differential. Stock out of the game comes at 55%. So what does the differential do? Especially the off-throttle in this example. So when you're having 50%, what is the lowest percent differential in the game for the off-throttle, that basically means the differential is spinning freely and the rear tires are spinning completely independently from each other. One tire can be spinning at 100 miles an hour and the other can be spinning at 50 because the minimum is 50. What means that there is a independent speed and potential from each tire. If you put your rear differential to 100% locked, that basically means if one tire is spinning at 100 miles an hour, the other tire has to be spinning at 100 miles an hour as well, and there is no ability for a difference between the two tires. The reason you do not want that is each tire has its own grip capabilities. No 4 tires have the same grip allowance at any point on the track or in the corner. So while going through turn 2 at Hungary, for example, the inside tyre might be spinning slightly faster or slower, depending on the situations, but having that independent grip ratio and grip potential will allow you to maximize each tire's grip potential. For example, the outside tire might have slightly more grip than the inside tire, what means if you have a fully locked differential at 100%, if the inside tire spins and locks up or loses traction, the outside tire is stuck to that inside grip's potential. If you have 50% off-road differential, as loose as you can get it, there is more chance that the outside and inside tire can spin independent and freely to allow themselves to have the maximum grip potential. So with all that being said, a good balance within the F1 game seems to be about 53-54% to allow yourself to have that good independent grip potential from the tires. The next area I'm going to be talking about within the low speed areas of the track is going to be your front suspension, and that will allow your tires to be dug into the road to generate grip, traction and friction as well. So we're going to lower the front suspension also slightly, and I'm going to take it back on track for you to see a live demonstration through turn 1, turn 2 at Hungary as well. So Hungary is one of the best tracks to set up test, because it has a mix of low speed and a high speed and medium speed corners as well. So we've got 56% brake bias, slightly lowered front suspension as well. And you can see going into the corner and it rotates just beautifully. And allows me to get in and out of corner in a controlled fashion, in a controlled way, and picking up that rotation throughout the corner and stability on the exit. And that is what we're looking for, to give ourselves good lap time potential. That in combination with the off-road differential is going to be helping me just rotate the car very nicely through these apexes and pick up good lap time potential, lap time optimal as well. The next area we're going to start speaking about is the medium speed corners. That is basically 100 miles an hour and over, or about 4th gear is a good equal ratio to be having that. So we just went through a high-speed corner there, and now approaching down into these corners, what I would define as low speeds and low-speed corners for the final 2 corners as well. So when we was going through the middle sector at Hungary, what is mainly focused at middle speed corners, I'm going to be showing you some tools at your disposal that can help your rotation in these middle speed corners. So one of the biggest aspects that you can use to your disposal in a middle speed corner is your front ride height. What that's going to be doing is pushing the front of the car lower to the ground, generating air force underneath the front floor of the car and just generating so much more downforce. With these modern cars that have so much of their downforce and potential and grip generated by the floor of the car, getting the front ride height lower and stuffing as much air underneath that front intake of the floor as possible will just help generate everything to be better. You have to be mindful though, if you run too much low on the front ride height, the front will start scraping, bottoming out and cutting off the airflow underneath the car. I'm going to show you a very quick description, demonstration of what that can look like. So if we're now in third person camera, I have lowered that front ride height. And if you see, we slow down. If you look towards the front of the car where the front tires just end, you can basically see that the front of the car has the floor starting, basically. And the lower that can go to the ground without touching, the faster you will go, especially in the middle speed corners and high speed corners as well. The way that you know if you're going to be touching down the floor is down the straight. If you can go down the straight and you hear like that is the floor touching the ground and scrubbing speed off, and that's where you see the sparks come from. If the front of the car or the rear of the car is touching the floor down the straight, that means that the airflow is going to be cut off and that is not going to be generating grip. Everything with modern Formula 1 cars is about airflow and generating compression underneath the car to generate that grip. So now I'm going to show the example of lowering that front ride height by a few clicks. As we go through these middle speed corners, you can see now we're just picking up so much more rotation, grip and potential as we're going through here. So the low speed corners, it will help a little bit, but not massively. But as we go through these lower corners, you can see apex, beautiful. Apex again. Just letting the car rotate all the way through. High speed corner, it will help a little bit, but mainly focused towards the middle speed sector of the track unwinding through these specific apexes here in Hungary. So this is a good testing ground for you at home to use your own test as well, to test that front ride height, to get it optimally set up for these middle speed corners. You can see just a very nice level of rotation. The final thing I'm going to be talking about is going to be the high-speed corners as well. And the main thing at your disposal there is going to be the front downforce. And we started off with 25% with the stock setup. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 5 clicks of downforce. And we're going to go up to 30% on the front. And what is the front downforce going to do? As simply explained, it's downforce. The more downforce you have, the more grip you have. The more downforce you have, equally, the more drag you have. So adding downforce to your car will make the car slower in a straight line, but appropriately applied downforce will make you fast enough in the corners that the speed you lose on the straight will not be overriding the time gain you had in the corners itself. So with that being said, this front downforce is going to help you in every single area of the track. Braking, because it's going to put more load on the front tires, what means you have more grip. Low speed, it's going to put more load on the front tires, so you have more grip. The same applies to middle speed and high speed especially. But front suspension stiffness will not really have that much effect at high speed corners. It will have a little bit of effect at middle speed corners, but massively only at low speed. So breaking it down very simply for you at home now is that front suspension is a more focus towards the ability to rotate the car in low speed corners. The front ride height will be mainly focused to helping you in middle speed corners, and the front aerodynamic wing angle will be mainly focused to helping you in high speed corners as well. What you're looking for, as a good rule of thumb, is to be able to turn the steering wheel very smoothly into the apex and have the car rotate beautifully through the corner like I just had it done there. You don't want to be going into the corner and having a boatload of understeer like I'm about to show you. And you can see, this is just understeering. Of course, I've amplified the understeer myself because I steered too much into the corner, but that is just me explaining it. But ideally, you want your car to be rotating very nicely, smoothly through here, and not having understeer and not having oversteer as well. I will be doing follow-up videos to explain this in more depth. This is a beginner entry-level guide on how to understand understeer, and we'll be following up these videos with medium tier and advanced tiers as well. So this video is focused for you at home about just getting started in sim racing, getting your boots on the ground, and understanding the base differences between front suspension, front ride height, and front aerodynamical load, and that how it can help you rotate the car as well. I'm going to be doing loads of these videos on my channel in these next few months and weeks and days about helping you get better at the F1 game specifically, and every area that I've learned over my 7-year professional career racing F1 esports, and I want to be able to teach you at home. I would have loved someone to be able to coach me, teach me when I was younger, learning my mistakes and my craft, what I did previously. So I want to be that person for you, to be honest. I want to be able to show you the lessons, show the stuff that I've learned, and how you can become a better driver through also my experiences. So with that being said, please comment down below what you would like to see me coach you on, how I can help you. And with that being said, I've been Brendon Leigh, and I'll catch you in the next video. Grazie, ciao ciao, bye bye.